have learned. So today we are going to learn ETL testing. Okay. So ETL testing is called as what? Extract, transform, and load testing. So extract the data from the source system. So there is something called as source system. What is a source? So a source system can be an XML file, can be a database, can be an Excel file, can be a simple file. Now file with an extension of .csv is called as comma separated value. File with an extension of .psv is a pipe separated value. Here the values in the files are separated by comma, or the values in the file is separated by pipeline. Based on that, we decide the extension of the file. So source can be an XML, it can be a database, it can be an Excel sheet, it can be a file. Any of these four can be a source. Now guys, concentrate here. ETL testing means what? Extract, transform, and load testing. That means we'll extract the data from the source system. That means we can extract the data from any of this. Transform means what? We'll change the data. Change the data means what? As per the business rules, we will change the data. Suppose I want the name of an employee, the first letter should be capital. So that is nothing but your transform. And after that, the last step is load the data. That means we have taken the data from the source, we have transformed the data, and now we have loaded the data into the data warehouse. So this completes your extract, transform, and load. And the last word is testing. That means the data which is extracted, which is transformed, and which is loaded into the target has been loaded successfully or not. That is why its name is ETL testing. Extract the data, transform the data, load the data extracted, transformed, and loaded from source to target has been loaded properly or not. This testing is called as what? ETL testing. Did you understood what is ETL testing? Tell me yes or no, guys.
Yes.
So this is called as what? ETL testing. So guys, there are some roles and responsibilities of an ETL tester, which we will again learn slowly, more detail. As of now, we have what we have to do as an ETL tester is we have to check that the data loaded from the source to the target is matching. This is first thing. And the next thing is from the target to the BI report, the data is matching. We also need to run the workflow and check the status of the workflow, what we are running, and is the workflow passed or failed. And if it is failed, we have to get the logs. So these things, roles of an ETL tester will understand better once we understand the ETL project architecture. So let us first understand the ETL project architecture. So till here, are you clear? Did you understood what is ETL testing and what is an ETL tester doing? He's checking that the data loaded from the source to the target is matching. And then the data from the target to the BI report is matching. And next thing what he is doing is first he is running the workflow and checking the status of the workflow. If it is failing, he has to get the logs. And generally this is sometimes done by the developers only. So ultimately our job is to check the data from the source to target and from target to BI report. So are you clear till this much, guys? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have clear understanding of ETL testing, what is ETL testing, what is an ETL tester does, there is something called as data migration project. So as you all know, migration means what? Movement. Yes or no? Yes. So if we move a particular data, okay, from one layer to the other, that is called as ETL architecture. Concentrate here. Okay, so ETL architecture means what, guys? See, this question in your entire life till you are in data field, this will be asked. What is ETL architecture of your project? What is it? First question is your introduction. The second question is to please explain your ETL architecture. Please explain your ETL project architecture. Please explain your project architecture. Please explain your project. This will be 110% fixed question in your entire life. So you have to know this very clearly. Listen here. The data migration project means what? Data is getting migrated. So when data is getting migrated, data is getting moved from one place to another. That becomes a data migration project. Okay, this is the most important project everywhere, every company. Most of the company is using data migration projects, and that is why the ETL testing come, and we have to check that the data which is migrated, which is moved from one layer to the another, is working properly or not. Let us see what is a source layer. So this is a source layer. So as I told you, source can be a database, can be a flat file, Excel file, can be a, a particular database. Now data are coming from the source and it is getting loaded into ODS. So to understand the ODS and the staging, from ODS it goes to staging to the data warehouse to data mart to the BI report and then to the end user. To understand this, first we have to understand how a vegetable is cooked. So can you tell Sangeeta how, suppose I want to cook a potato or vegetable, so how can I cook it?
We are cutting the vegetable into small cubes or pieces, and we are putting in a water. We put on the stove. And
Oh, wait. Before cutting, you have to do something, right? Will you bring the potato and cut directly?
Wash. We have
Yes.
to wash it.
Okay.
After washing, after cleaning, we have to.
No. After washing, what will happen? After washing, what will happen? You cook food, no, at home.
Yeah, yeah.
So after washing, what happens? What is the next step?
Someone will peel off that skin.
Yes. So second step is what?
Peeling
So
off.
Yeah, you tell me the complete step, huh? Complete step.
Yeah, washing and peeling off the skin. After that, dividing, slicing into cubes.
Okay.
After that, put it on the stove and allow it to boil.
Okay. Then
after, if we are cooking, if we are keeping in a cooker, we will allow to give 2-3 whistles. After that, we'll turn off and we will check whether it is cooked or not.
Fine. So Ramya, Shyama, all of you agree to this? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, Vikram.
So what happened? We brought the potato. The first step was what, guys? We washed it or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
After that, what we did, we peel out the skin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what you have to understand. This is the source layer. Okay. In this first layer, which is what ODS layer, we will do only the washing. Are you able to understand? Only the cleaning activities. Are you able to understand? Cleaning is a very preliminary stage. Okay. So some people, if bachelors and all will cook and all, no, they will not wash that much rigorously. They will just wash little bit. Okay. But if ladies are cooking, they will wash it clearly. So this is a very preliminary stage. This is called ODS, operational data storage, or it is also called as what? Operational data storage, or also called as a landing area. This is an optional layer. Okay. This is not everywhere. Now this cleaning is an optional layer. Even if we don't clean potato and we cut it and then we peel out the screen and then also we can cook it. Okay. So this is an optional layer. Every company is not using it. Only 1% of the company is using this ODS, operational data storage or landing area. What happens? The data is coming and it's got landed. That means we buy the potato and it has come to our kitchen. And we have done some kind of washing in it. Okay. So now after washing, what happened? Washing means what? We'll do this very basic check. Basic check means what, guys? Like this are called as quality check. There's the name of the employee should start with the first letter. That's all. Only one check I have that all the names should start from the first letter. So this is a very primary testing done for this in the ODS or landing area. Like we have done only just washing of that particular potato. After that, it goes to the staging layer. So this is very important, the staging layer. So in the staging layer, we will do the almost all the data quality check. That means what? First, we will peel out the skin of the potato. Then what we will do? We'll again clean it. Okay. and we'll see there is no peel of the potato left. Okay, so like this you have to understand. In the staging layer, what we will do, guys, is in the staging layer, what we'll do the basic quality check. What are the quality checks? Like there should not be any underscore. Okay, so suppose, let me just write this. There should not be any underscore in a particular value. Okay, no unnecessarily null value should not be there. Okay, so these kind of checks we will do where these are called as quality check. There should not be any there, like some more quality checks we can write, like rounding of the data. If we want to round off the data, we can round off the data. Okay, then these are called as what? Cleansing or data quality check. There should not be any underscore, no null value, rounding of the data, or suppose some unnecessary values are coming. Those things can be checked here. So these are very, very basic check which is happening in the staging area. That means the second thing which I told you, in potato, we will just peel out, we'll wash it, we'll see that the entire potato, entire skin is peeled out. After that, the next step is what, guys? That is nothing but your actual transformation, which will happen in your data warehouse, where we will cut the potato in various shapes. Okay, that means the data will be transformed actually in the data warehouse as per the business rules. Suppose I want to make a potato curry, then accordingly the potatoes will be cut, accordingly the spices will be given. Like that, I want the data of, suppose there are 4 department number, department 10, 20, 30, 40. Now the actual transformation is what? We want to load only department 10. So this is the actual transformation which will happen in the data warehouse layer. After the data warehouse layer, it will go to the next layer. That is what, guys? Data mart. So data mart is something, a part of the data warehouse only, a subset of data warehouse. That means what, guys? Now data warehouse is a huge database. Okay, now what happens in data mart? What happens is we will divide into area wise. Suppose an employee, suppose a company is there, like a company is there, any company XYZ, Infosys is a company. Now entire data of Infosys will be in a data warehouse. Now what is data mart? Then data mart will have the separate data, like that HR department will keep the data of the HR department in a particular database. That is nothing but the data mart. That is nothing but the HR department. Next department, delivery department. Delivery department, like what? Testing, development, designing, all these are delivery department. So there's a particular data mart for that. Next is what? Security department. That means what? Security means what? All the people who will give the security employees are working there. That is nothing but a particular separate department, nothing but your security department. Like that, what happened? If there are separate departments, will distinguish and make it into separate databases. That is nothing but your data mart. That means it is a subset of data warehouse. Data warehouse is having all the data. Now we are taking for some subject. Some subject means what? HR is a subject. Security is a subject. Okay. Like that, what I told, delivery is a subject. Admin is a subject. Okay. So all these things are nothing but your subjects. So based on that subjects, we have divided into data mart. From the data mart, the last layer is nothing but your BI report. This report will be used by the end users to visualize the data, to make the decision, and this will be used by lastly what? The end users. Okay, so this particular report will be used by the end users, by the CEO of the company, the MD of the company. He will see what? My employees' data are there. Okay, so in the HR department in 2022, how many people left the job? Okay, then he will see what? Okay, suppose I am selling watches. Suppose Titan company is there. They are selling the watches. So they will make a decision. Okay, this particular brand, Fast Track, is selling the watches mostly in the north region. Okay, this is the decision they are taking. This particular brand is having the most sell. So we will launch more for this particular product. This particular brand is not having any cells. So we'll stop that particular brand. So these kind of decisions will be made by the very higher authority of an organization. So that is why these BI reports are developed. So this is your ETL architecture. 99% company, what you have to tell? First data will come from source, go to the staging area, go to the data warehouse, go to the data mart, and then it will go to the BI report. As an ETL tester, we have to check the data from the source to the data warehouse. See, data mart is already included. When you explain your answer, you tell what? We'll check the data from the source to data warehouse. Data warehouse you tell, that means data mart is already included. Source to data warehouse. From the data warehouse, we'll check the data to the BI report. So testing is divided into how many parts? Testing is divided into two parts. First is what? Data
ETL.
from where? From the source to the data warehouse, and next is what? From the data warehouse to what? BI
Reporting.
reports.
Reporting.
So there are some ETL testing tools, like Informatica is an ETL testing tool, Ab initio is an ETL testing tool, IBM is an IBM is a ETL testing tool, IBM Data Stage, SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. All these are nothing but your ETL tools. Okay. So these are nothing but your ETL testing tools. There are something called as BI reporting tools. These are BI reporting tools like Cognos, SSRS, MicroStrategy, Power BI. All these are nothing but your BI reporting tools. So now, guys, when you have understood these are the ETL testing tool, these are the BI reporting tools. Okay. So to understand this particular architecture, we also have to understand there is something called as data warehouse, and there's something called as database. There is something called as data mart. So what is the difference? So if you remember, I told you data means what? Do you remember? Data means what? Any meaningful information is called as what?
Data.
Data.
Data. And what is database? Do you remember?
Collections of data.
Collection of data in the form of tables. Yes or no?
Tables. Yes.
So what is data warehouse then? Okay. So to understand this, first we have to understand in Bangalore, suppose a particular brand of jeans, Lee. Lee is a popular brand. There is something, Levi's is there. Okay, Vanuation is there. So many brands are there. So let us take Lee as a jeans. Okay. Now Lee showroom is there in the Marathalli. Okay. Now what happened is the Lee showroom, the jeans is getting sold. Okay, fine. Now daily the jeans is getting sold, and then we are having that data how many jeans got sold in the database. Okay. This is fine for 1 month, 2 month, or 1 year data is going stored in the Marathalli database that this many jeans has been sold. Now there is also an area where Lee showroom is there in the Silk Road. There is also an area BTM, Kormangla, Hebbal, Baswantgudi, Banaswadi. Now all this area, the Lee showroom is present. Now what is happening, guys? They are storing their data in the database for 1 year. But when we integrate all this data, that becomes a data warehouse. Are you able to understand? For a database to qualify as data warehouse, it should be an integrated data. Am I clear? For a database to qualify as data warehouse, it should be an integrated data. When the data will come from all these databases and is stored in a centralized repository, that will become a data warehouse. Now, data warehouse data will be of 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, 1000 years. Are you able to understand? If I want an account statement for 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, directly bank will give. But you will tell that in 2012, before 10 years, what was my account statement? The bank will take 3 days time. It will take what? This is a 10-year-old data. It will take some time. I will give the data after 3 working days, because they have to fetch the data from where? From the data warehouse database, not from the normal database. Normal database will have a small set of data. It will for a small duration, for maximum 1 year. Okay, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, maximum 1 year. But data warehouse database will be a huge set of data. Data warehouse database will be a historic data. Data warehouse database will be an integrated data. Data warehouse database will be a subject-oriented data. There will be a particular subject that sell for a particular product. So there is a particular subject-oriented, integrated, non-volatile. Okay. Then data warehouse, you have to understand a word called as non-volatile. Okay. So see, there's a word called as what? Non-volatile. That means no changes can be done. It is not a volatile database. Data warehouse database is a historic data. So we will not do any changes. It is not that you will go in a data warehouse and you will write delete command and update command and all those things will not happen here. DML activities we should not do in the data warehouse, because see, 50 years before, what was the transaction done? Okay, what suppose I want to know my grandfather, what was his PF at before 50 years. So that data is in the data warehouse. Now, if we will do update and delete and all, there is no proof that to prove that particular data. So that kind of data will not do update and delete and all DML activities in the particular data warehouse. So it is non-volatile. Time variant means what? Is a huge historic data, more than 1 year, at least example 20 year, 50 year, 100-year data are there in the data warehouse. So did you understood data warehouse and database difference? First of all, our data warehouse is subject oriented. That means our data warehouse can be analyzed for a particular subject area. Subject area means what, guys? Suppose I want a particular sale of a particular product, a PF, an account of any person, that is nothing but a subject oriented. Next is what? Integrated. That means database. To qualify as data warehouse, first thing is what? It should be an integrated data. Next is what? It should be non-volatile, that will not do any changes. And time variant means what? It is a old data, historic data, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years. That is nothing but your data warehouse. And data mart is what? Is data mart, guys? Data mart is a subset of what? Subset of data warehouse, okay, for a particular subject. So now, guys, what will happen is, if now someone will tell you, can you please explain me your project, or can you please explain me your project architecture? What you will tell? Data is coming from the source. It is going to the staging layer. It is going to the data warehouse. It is going to the data mart. It is going to the BI report. As an ETL tester, I am checking the data from the source to the data warehouse. Then I am checking the data from the data warehouse to the what? To the BI report. Did you understood this much? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Any doubts? Any doubts anyone is having? Anyone?
No,
any? Are you fine? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
This is data migration project, guys. Every one of you, if you'll work in ETL testing, 99% chances we get this project. So this
Sir,
is
as a tester, if means we need to work in ETL plus BI both.
yes, it is always ETI plus BI reporting tester, because your end product of all this ETL testing is what? A particular BI report. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So this is the ETL architecture. If you have understood till this much, then what happens, guys? There is something called as source to target mapping document. Okay. Source to target mapping document is also called as STM document, is also called as STTM document. Okay. Did you got this particular document or not? Tell me yes or no. I have given you this document. Where is this document? This is here in your notes. Yes, yes. Let me just open. Okay. So let us first understand our document. STTM document, source to target mapping document, or only source to target mapping document. Both are same. STTM, source to target mapping document, or STM, source target mapping document. Both are same. I have given you this document. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
This ETL notes I have given or not?
Yes.
Anyone has not got, just message me in WhatsApp your mail ID. I'll send again. Okay, that's fine. So this is a STM document. So this is like Gita of ETL testing. Join your hands and ask this document whenever you want to do ETL testing. So what happens, guys? This is a particular document which will tell what is my source system, what is my source table, what are my source column, what is the source column data type. Now this I will do it in a different color so that you understand clearly. Okay? This is another. Now this will go in another color. This is what the transformation logic. What is the transformation logic which is used? Let me just make it in a very, very different color. Yes. And last is your entity means what? Table. Do you remember that? I told another name of table is what? Entity. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
So let us make it three colors. First is what, guys? There is source system, there is source table, source columns, data types, transformation logic, target table, target column data type, target column data column if it is nullable or not, and then any comments if required. So this main thing is the source table, source column data type, target table, target column data type. If required, we'll give the nullable and comments. This STM document will not be prepared by us. It will be prepared by whom? By the development team. You will just ask this particular document. First, you will ask the requirement document, and then you will ask the source to target mapping document whenever you want to do the ETL testing. Now, guys, first of all, understand this STM document. So to understand this STM document, what we have to understand is what are the things written here. First is source system DL. DL means what? Data load. Data load is going to happen now. Now this has given what particular name? DL. Okay, data load. Okay, fine. Now source system is what? Source table name is what? DL campaign offer. That means table name of the source is what? DL campaign offer. Okay. Now what will happen is, guys, source column. What is the column? Campaign initiative type. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Are you with me? This is the source table. Main focus here. This is the source table. This is the source column. What is the data type? What is the data type? Are you there?
Worker.
Varchar 100. Varchar 100. Do you remember I taught you data type, varchar, char and all? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So now we will, this is called as state pool. This is called as state pool, also called as first load, also called as 1-to-1 load. Okay. Are you there with me? Yes or no?
Yes.
So 1-to-1 or state pool of first load means what? Entire data from the source table, source column will be loaded in this target table, target column. Yes. So now there is no transformation. Whenever there is a state pool, state load, first load, 1-to-1 load, there is no transformation logic. Did you understood this much? Ramya, Sangeeta, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so this is called a state load or first load or 1-to-1 load. Similarly, there is a source table, this source column, data type, state pool, target table, target column. Similarly, now see
We
this
can
is
say direct move also, right? Direct move.
direct.
Direct move.
No, you know you can say, but that is not the ETL keywords. Okay, so
Okay.
you can we see anything can be told, but that is not what we will use in our day-to-day work. And there's a book called as Ralph Kimball for ETL. I don't know how many of you have heard about that. Ralph Kimball, the biggest book written for ETL. So from there, most of the people takes the concept. So they take this only, state pool, first load or 1-to-1 load. So all this table is nothing but your state pool, but this table, all this table is divided into 3 tables. One is what? Campaign target DCT, to campaign offer DCO, DL month DM. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So these are the table, 3 tables. These are the column. Can you tell me this column customer account key is from which table?
Target. Champion target.
Yes,
DCT.
campaign target DCT. That's why, because its name is DCT.
DCT.
Now campaign code is from which table?
Campaign offer.
Campaign
DCO.
offer. Okay, like that. Which table is from which column? It is prefixed. Did I taught you this or not? Tell me yes or
Yes,
no.
yes.
Yes.
Field names.
Now, what is this column? Field name, data type,
Data type is integer.
Okay.
Yes.
Next is this is called the transformation logic. So what is the transformation logic? Let us see a distinct count of customer account key based on the following option. That means we want the distinct count of what? Customer account key based on this is the particular transformation logic. Okay. This is the particular transformation logic. Based on that, the data will be loaded from the source to the target, and we have to validate that particular data from the source to the target has been loaded using this particular transformation logic. Now, this is the transformation table, target table, and this is the column and its data type. Okay, so here also the data type should match. Here also all this data type will be present. And if it is not matching, that will become a bug. First thing we are going to check is the data type. Let me just write down here. Okay, so what will happen is, suppose here VACA is written. Here VACA is written. That's fine. But suppose here integer is written and here VACA is written. That is not matching. So that should be told. Or suppose here VACA 100, 2 is written. Okay, that means it is a decimal value. So suppose I write VACA 2, 3, 2, 3 or 2, 1. Anything we can write 2, 1. So what happened, guys? This is the decimal value. Maximum value is what? 2-digit maximum value is 99. That means 9 decimal value will be what? 9.9. Do you remember when I taught you data type? Maximum value will be what? Maximum value, 2-digit maximum value is 99, and after 1 digit we'll have decimal. Yes or no? 9.9.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So here it is decimal value. Here it is a numeric value. So what will happen if I put a particular, if the source, this particular column is a particular decimal value, suppose it's 5.6, okay, as a source. So in the target, what it will be loaded? It will be loaded 5 or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Tell me yes or no, guys.
Yes.
Because see here we have not mentioned it as what? Decimal value. So only the whole number will be loaded, and then that will become a bug because all the calculations will become wrong. And this is the major defect we have got many times if the data type is not matching. And because of that, what happened, guys? Many times bugs will come. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what is the first bug in ETL testing? If the data type between source and target was not matching.
Matching.
And because of that calculation, the values from the source and target was not matching. So if we suppose sometimes what will happen in the source and you tell me. Anyone is telling anything? Okay, fine. So what I was telling is sometimes what will happen is the source and target value will not match. Then at that time, what you will do, you can just check when you will debug, you will see that what data type is not matching. Because of that, the value was not matching. So we need to analyze also why that data between source and target is not matching. This is first step validation. The data type between the source and the target. That means the structure between the source and the target should match. And the next validation we'll see later. Did you understood this much? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Did you understood? Tell me yes or no. Yes.
Yes. So why we need mapping?
Because we will do the entire ETL testing is based on this. The data is getting loaded from where? From the source to the target. Yes or no? Yes.
Okay. So that one is inbuilt or we need to create that?
No, you will not create that. That will be created by whom? By the ETL developers. Are you able to understand?
Okay, understood.
That will be developed by whom? ETL developer. What we will do? What we will do? we will just check that the data loaded from the source to target is correct or not.
Not.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So ETL testing is what will check the data loaded from the source to target is matched. Fine. Do you understood these things? Okay. So next is what, guys? Let us just understand the validation parts in the ETL testing, and we have to understand what is a source, what is a target. So ETL testing is also called as DUH testing. Sometimes some people tell that DUH testing, so that is also fine. So next is to understand the validation between the source and the target. So we'll learn that thing. Before that, did you understood the source system, the target system, the project architecture? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
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 So which project we are learning? We are learning which project? We are learning the data migration project.
Migration.
Which project we are learning?
Data migration.
Data migration.
Data migration project. Okay, fine. So guys, this schema, database, table definitions, did I told you in the beginning or not? Tell me yes or no.
Yes. Yes.
So what are the validations from source to target? Let us just see. First validation will validate what? The structure. Structure validation, did I told in the STM document? Structure, that means what? The source column data type should match the target column data type.
Data
Yes.
type. Yes.
Yeah, and the value should be either equal or it can be greater. That means what? If I write here varchar 100, either you can give the target data type 100, or you can give what? More than 100. You can give 1000. That is fine, but you cannot give less than 100. Are you able to understand? Yes. Next is this is structure validation, where we validate the length of the column. The target column should be matching, or the target column length more or equal to the source column length. Target column length should be, I showed you, no, should be more than or equal to the source column length. Data type of the source and target column should be validated. First thing what we'll validate the structure, which includes two things. First is what? The data type, and next is what? The length. Length of the target table should be either equal or it should be what? More than the source. Are you able to understand? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
If you understood this much, then we'll validate the count. Suppose there are 10,000 record in this source, and target also 10,000 records should be loaded. So this is what called as what? Count validation.
Validation.
Next is what? The data validation. So this is what is called as what? Data transformation validation or data validation, which is again a very, very challenging thing and very, very complex thing. So means that as per the STM document, the data has been transformed, loaded into the target, and we have to check those data. Okay. Suppose making the first character as capital, rounding of data, removing unwanted data, junk data, or any null value should not be there. Or these are the transformations which we are using in Informatica or in our real time, which we have to learn. These are called as aggregate. These are called as transformations, aggregate, expression, filter, joiner, router. All this transformation validation we have to learn. We have to understand what are the validation. This is very, very challenging part. Transformation. Last we'll learn is the validation of the surrogate key. Now, what is surrogate key? Is a key generated in the data warehouse. Again, we'll talk on that later. And validation of this STD. This also we'll learn later. What is this slowly changing dimension? As of now, we'll validate the structure. We'll validate the count. We'll validate the duplicates. We'll validate the null. We'll validate the transformation logic. That's all you have to remember. Structure, count. In the data transformation, whatever the data transformation is happening, then we'll validate the, next you write down, we'll validate the duplicate. If any duplicate is there, validate the duplicate. Validate the duplicate in the surrogate key only. We'll just let it be like this. Validate the surrogate key. write like this. Validate any duplicate is there. Write like this. Validate any duplicate is there in the surrogate key, or we can write next is what we can write validate any null values. So these 5 validations you remember as of now, and later we will see what there is one more validation called as slowly changing dimension validation, which also we will learn. So this is what are the validations we are going to learn, which is the most important point of ETL testing. If you understood the validations, you understood the ETL testing. So what is the difference between database and data warehouse testing? Do you know, do you have some understanding? First is what database testing, what will be the size, guys? Can you just tell me? Database will be small size or not? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Next is what? Next is what? Usually, what will happen, guys? Usually, used to test data from the backend comparing to GUI. What happens in database testing? We'll test the data from the front end of the application to the backend. Yes or no, guys? Yes.
Yes.
And next is what, guys? What happens in data warehouse? Data warehouse, what will happen? The data loaded from the source to the target after transformation, that we have to validate. That is nothing but your data warehouse testing. And in database, maximum data can be of how many years? Can be maximum of 1 year. Are you able to understand? Yes. Here it can be around 100 years. So this is generally homogeneous data. What do you understand by homogeneous data? Homogeneous data means what? From the same database, the data are coming. So it is called as what? Homogeneous data.
Yes.
It is heterogeneous data, means different databases, the data are coming. And next is what, guys? Database is normalized data. What is normalization? Splitting of larger table into a smaller table. That is called as what? That is called as normalization. That means just a bigger table is divided into small tables. That is nothing but your normalization. So here in database testing, normalization will happen. Here denormalization means what? We'll join smaller table to form the bigger table. That is called as what? Denormalization. Here the denormalized data will be there. Here CRUD operation, CRUD means what? Create or rename, update, delete. All these operations will happen in database testing. But in data warehouse testing, only read operation. That means only we will use which query? Select query. Did you understood? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
What about Ramya? Did you understood?
Yes, Vikram.
Are your concepts clear about database and data warehouse testing?
Yes.
First difference is what? Database testing will be of small size. Data warehouse testing will be what? Of bigger
Small
size.
size.
Data warehouse will be what? Of bigger size or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Next is what? Here we'll test the database testing is what, guys? I told you, no, suppose this is a database testing. So what I will do? All the data, suppose all this data will be stored in a database. So these data is matching from the front end to the database or not. That is nothing but your database testing. But in data warehouse testing, what? After extract, transform, load, it is loading into data warehouse. And that particular data we are checking, that is nothing but your data warehouse testing. So data in database testing is small duration, either 3 months, 6 months, or maximum 1 year. Data in data warehouse testing is for large duration of time, like more than 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 100 years, etc. This is homogeneous data, same database data. This is heterogeneous data because data is coming from different databases and getting integrated. Here database testing is normalized. Normalized means what? A bigger table is divided into smaller table. That is nothing but your normalized data. Denormalized data means what? Small tables are getting joined and those integrated data is becoming data warehouse database. So this is denormalized data. Did you understood today's class? Tell me yes or no, guys.
Yes.
So did you what is ETL testing? Can someone tell me what is ETL testing? It is used to what? ETL testing is used to extract the data, transform the data, and load the data. Now the data extraction will happen from where? From the source system. So what can be the source system? It can be an XML file,
XML
database
file,
file, Excel file, or file system.
File.
Now file can have an extension .csv, PSV, comma separated value, or pipe separated value. Fine.
Values.
Yes. After that, what we learn, guys? We learn what is the role of an ETL tester. He will check first. What he will check? He will check the data is loaded from where? From the source to the data warehouse, and from the data warehouse to the report. Okay. Let us write. First, we need to check the data from the source to data warehouse. Next, we need to check the data from data warehouse to the report. And we also need to run the workflow, check the status of the workflow, and give the log if the workflow fails. Next, I told you is what? We will learn something called as data migration project. What happens in data migration project? Can you just tell me? First, the data will be coming from the source system. From the source system, it will go into the ODS or landing area. Only 1% of the company follows ODS or landing area, operational data storage or landing area. As I taken the example for vegetable, I told what only very basic check happen in the landing area because we have just landed here. Most of the companies will not follow, and directly it will go to the staging area where data quality checks will happen. Data quality checks means what? Like your underscore should not be there, or first letter should be capital. This kind of checking will be done in the staging area. Next, I told is what? I told that the data will be loaded from the staging area to where? To the data warehouse. What will happen in the data warehouse? Where the actual testing will happen. And what happens in actual testing? All the transformations, suppose the salary need to be increases by 10%, or only out of 4 departments, only 1 department will be loaded. That is nothing but the actual transformation will happen in the data warehouse. From data warehouse, it will be loaded to data mart. From data mart, it will be going into the BI report. We will test the data from the source to warehouse, and from warehouse to the BI report. After that, what we learned is what? After that, we learned what? That what is a data warehouse. So what I told, to understand data warehouse, we have to understand it is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, non-volatile collection of data in support of management decision-making. That means what? First of all, it is for a particular subject, integrated means from different database, it got integrated. And then time variant means it will not change with the time because it's a historic data. Okay, the huge number of years will be there. Non-volatile means DML activities will not work here. Update insert we will not do in the data warehouse. Then I told that data mart is a subset of data warehouse. What happens in data mart? It is related to a particular subject. So it is called as what? Data mart. Then we learned something called as what? Source to target mapping document. I showed this document. I told there is something called as source table, source column data, column data type, transformation logic, transformation table, transformation column, transformation target table, target column data type. Based on this, we will test the data from the source to the target. After that, we also check that what are the validations done between the source and the target. So what I told you, what are the validation done? First, we'll check the structure between the source and the target. Then we'll check the count between the source and the target. We'll check the data between source and the target. And lastly, we'll check what? We'll check that there is a duplicate in the surrogate key. We'll validate the null values. And if the dimension is changing, there is something called as slowly changing dimensions, which we validate. And then I told you in the end, what is the difference between database testing and data warehouse testing? So database testing is smaller size of data. Data warehouse testing is larger size of data. And database testing, what happened? Usually used to test data from the backend coming from the GUI. So here the data will test from the GUI to the backend. Here we'll test the data after the ETL mechanism. In the database testing is for a small duration, like 6 months, 1 year and all. But here the data is for a larger duration, 5 year, 10 year, 100 year. This is homogeneous, this is heterogeneous data. This is normalized data, this is denormalized data. Here CRUD operation will happen. Here only read operation will happen. Did you understood this much? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, Vikram.
Yeah, good.